Volmar record player on the ironing board as well. It's a long time since we've had the ironing board out, but I thought I'd just have a quick look at this record player. The cabinet's not in too bad a condition. Let's just lift up the lid and have a look. So there's the turntable. That's RC121 Mark II. The platter mat's missing on there. There's a bit of mould in there as well. You can see up on the lid there's some mould. That's this classic grey cloth that you see this on a lot of record players in the UK, which is obviously where I am. There's a couple of speakers in this, I think, one in each side, one here and one in this side here. Don't know much about its history, don't even know if it works. At this moment in time, don't even know how to get into the amplifier section, although I suspect it's the bottom that comes out of this one. Very old MK plug there. So we need to get in and have a look at the amplifier. Now I'm not sure what we're going to do with this yet. Again, this is from the guy that I do some work for, who's got the shop in Matlock in Derbyshire. And we're not sure whether we're going to get this running as a record player or convert this into a guitar amplifier. Now of course that does depend on what we find when we get inside, because if this is series filament, although it's fairly weighty so it may not be, because there could be transformers in there, but if it's series filament then it'll need an isolation transformer if we're going to turn this into a guitar amplifier. Let's just have a look at the bottom. Now I think that bottom comes out, and I think to do that we've got to undo those screws there on the feet. There's 4 of those. So I'm going to whip those screws out and then we're going to see if that bottom comes out. Right, we've got the bottom off and it is series filament, as I suspected on this one. So let's just hone in at the tubes. So if we just hone in there, you can see that's UCL82, which is a pentode triode in one bottle. Single triode for the preamp stage and then the output stage pentode. And we've got down the bottom there, if we just hone in, that is UY85. So it's a half wave rectification tube. 38 volts on the filaments on that one and 50 volts on this one, and I'm guessing they're making the rest of that voltage up, because obviously it'll be 240. I'm guessing they're making that up with that big resistor down there. I'm guessing, sorry, there, I can see it. So this isn't going to be a guitar amp. They're isolating the turntable, because you see the power comes in on that white cable there, goes out off the switch, which is on the volume there. You can hear that clicking away, and then that goes into the turntable, comes out and feeds, well, there's a switch on the turntable anyway, which is there, and then it comes out of that switch from the into the motor there. I'm not sure where that's going. That'll be for the switch for the on the deck to switch the motor on and off. Yeah, so the turntables, it looks like that's isolated, and that's how they got around these, using the motor as an isolation transformer. The output transformer is in there, you can see him just hiding away. By the way, there's Pink having a wash, and there's my dog having a snooze. This would need a fair amount of work. well, extensive amounts of work really, but there's not that much in it. So we could take sympathy on this and restore it. How viable it is another question. This speaker down at the bottom here, it doesn't look in very good condition at all. And if we just, you can actually see there that the cone's busted. Not sure what make that speaker is. I'm feeling it's an Echo. It's a Goodman's Echo. And then we've got a speaker up here, and I've seen that. You can't really. Well, we can get him to see that there. So the speaker there, and then there's a horn up at the top, or tweeter, as some people call them. So we've got 2 speakers and a horn, series filament, and yes, and a turntable that seems to spin well. So I wonder if this works. Shall we plug it in and see? It's no great shake if this doesn't work, and there's no great shake if it goes bang, I don't suppose really, but it's somehow it's a nice cabinet. If we just have a hone round. Yeah, Volmar. Strange. I'd not heard of this until I actually went online, and then saw quite a few more of these. Don't know what information. The good news is, if we look at the bottom that we took out, we've got a schematic here. You can see, and there we just zoom in, so you can see we've got schematic. We've even got a layout of the PC board there, and a list of the components as well that we've got. So that's interesting, and that's good that we've got that. Someone's drawn their own diagram there at some point many years ago. This cabinet's made of ply. It's a solid thing. You know, this must have been a fairly expensive unit in its day. Not sure what year it's from, but anybody who's into record players would probably tell me. I'm not sure. There actually is a model number there, I think, as well. Type 3302. Type 3302 gramophone. So let's plug it in and see what happens. Right, it's plugged in, and we're just about to switch on. Let's see what happens, if anything. Well, we've got a pilot light on in there, you can see. So that's a start. I can't see any filaments in the valves, but this light I've got is extremely bright. I've got something coming up. Yes. I'm guessing that the rectifier tube's burning very brightly. Look, and there's smoke. And there's smoke. I don't normally switch things on without a variac or a current limiter, but because it's just it's only an old cheap record player. Somebody will be going at it hammer and nail in the comments in a bit. Only an old cheap record player. So I would say, judging by that smoke, unless that's just, and that's pretty cool. So is that. So it's nothing burning off the tube. It's not been on long enough. So I'm guessing that capacitor is dead short on there, and that heat is coming from one of the resistors on there. Let's just see what that one warm. That yeah, he is a bit warm. So this needs quite a bit of work, and that obviously that I'm guessing that capacitor is short. In fact, it needs a complete recap. Well, there's not many caps in it though, is there really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see there off the top of just as a quick glance, probably 5 or 6 capacitors. Obviously, there's that one, and that's probably a double. So we'll probably say there's 6 or 7, because we're not going to get one of those to fit into the board. They're going to have to be separate if we do decide to do this. Might even have a speaker to go in there, really. We'd only have to find, because that speaker looks okay, so we might only have to find that one. It could be a fun project, but not while it's smoking. So I'm going to go away now and have a think about what to do with this record player, because without an isolation transformer we really can't convert this into a guitar amp. It looks cool enough to be a guitar amp, bit of a strange shape for one, but could we get this going as a record player? Yes, we could, but it does need a bit of work. But not, you know, it's not going to take long to restore that PC board, really. This, you know, probably have all the components in that in an hour or so. It's where to mount these capacitors. I would guess there's 2 in. There's the 2 in there. There might only be 1 in that can. So there, we can see that. I'll see that through the camera. You can probably see that better than me now. Actually, you could if I hadn't have just gone off it. There we go. So there we have it. The Volmar Model 3302 record player. What are we going to do with this? I'll go away and have a think. Right, been having a think about this record player. So I'm going to post this video and you can all have a look and see what you all think. The cabinet on this is in remarkably good condition, and that is what's making me kind of look at this and think, you know, shall we restore this? You know, if the cabinet was battered up, yeah, there's a bit of mould on there, but it's only on the vinyl and it'll wipe off. But the rest of it's in really good condition. And the turntable, yeah, we need a platter mat for it, but we may have one of those. You know, this is in really good condition, and it's obviously quite rare. So I'll tell you what I have just noticed though on this, and that's bent and damaged, and one of the reasons why that is damaged there is because if we look at the lid there and zoom in, you see where it's, so that's probably not the original, I can't remember what you call these now, but this stem anyway is probably not original, because it's been, someone's closed the lid down and bent that by the look of it. I think that's bent, or should it be like that? I don't know. It may well, you know, that may be how it is. Strange that. At first glance that looks like it's been damaged, but I'm not sure. Not sure whether it is or not. On that, I can't say. I have to have a look at that in a bit more detail. So, really, what does this need to be a successful record player? Because the turntable spins okay, or seems to. Need a bit of grease. There's a screw missing out of there. Not sure what that's about, or something's missing out of there. If we just zoom in, you can see. So something's missing from there. We may be able to find out what that is by scouring pictures on the internet. Let's have a look at this. Let's lift that up and see. It has a cartridge of some description. There. Actually, you know, I think this head actually pulls off on these. Let me just, yeah, so we can see that there. Those needles, those styluses, they just look like a metal pin. But I'm sure you can find a cartridge for this. We've got a few cartridges lying around. We've got a few of these heads lying around actually, because these excuse my voice, these turntables, or very similar turntables, are in the Bush record players which we use for the guitar amps. So I'm going to leave this video here, and I'm going to put this one out there and see what you all think. Should we take pity on this record player? Because to be fair, if I cleaned this up, it would be near mint. So do you think it's worth doing, or do you think it's not worth doing? Chime in the comments and let me know. Thanks for watching. I know this is not a guitar amplifier, but it's still a nice vintage piece of kit, and of course it's valves, tubes. So you all take care, and I'll see you all in a future video. Bye bye for now.